We are back on Kababayan Today. Ako po si G. Tanji coming to you from Los Angeles, California. If you're just joining us, we are ending our buwan ng pag-ibig with our love for our culture. And that's why we are reading this book. It's called The Latinos of Asia. We have the author here. Ang pangalan niya, Anthony Christian Ocampo, or here on our show, we call him Dr. O. Dr. O, let's get started with this excerpt reading once again from your book.
Sounds good. Leah, a young Filipino American teacher, had a telling answer when I asked her whether she ever identified as Asian. She said, "It's hard because we're the only Asian country that's been colonized by Spain for 300 years. It really changed us because we're more Latin. We have more similarities with Latin culture than other Asians. Filipinos are the Mexicans of Asia."
Many of the other Filipinos Dr. Ocampo interviewed said similar things as Leah, that Filipinos were the Hispanic Asians, the Latin Asians, and the Latinos of Asia. In many ways, these phrases perfectly captured the racial experiences of Filipinos in Los Angeles. They're neither black nor white. Rather, they have vacillated between identifying with Asian American and Latino communities. Filipinos know they are considered Asian, but the cultural residuals of their Spanish colonial past, their surnames, their food, their strict Catholicism cannot be ignored either.
Filipinos and Latinos go hand in hand, said Jason Carrera, a registered nurse that I interviewed for the book. I think it's the culture. A lot of the influences come from the Spanish. Because if you go to the stores and the markets, you'll find a Filipino store. And then not too far, you'll find a carniceria or a panaderia. Filipinos are like racial chameleons. What color they are depends on their larger social context that's surrounding them.
And that is a brilliant, brilliant line. Racial chameleons.
Yeah.
It's true, di ba? Kung sino yung kasama natin, we will adjust to whoever that is. And it happens to me all the time when I'm with my titas and titos. Ala, oh, ganito na ako magsalita, di ba? It just really depends on who you are.
Yeah, yeah. It depends on, who's behind you. So I've talked to some young Filipino Americans who, if they're in East LA, everyone assumes that they're Mexican.
Oh, yeah.
But if they walk to Korea, or not walk, but they drive to Koreatown, everyone all of a sudden thinks they're Asian.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like the background changes and their color changes as well. And I thought that was something that was very unique to the Filipino experience in LA.
Why do people need to get a copy of this book, Dr. O? Why?
I think people need to get a copy of this book because it's so important to start the conversation. On Facebook and other social media, I've had a lot of people that say, "Oh my gosh, Latinos of Asia," that perfectly characterizes that feeling I had when I was a kid where I didn't feel like I was completely Asian. And I felt really close to Latinos, Puerto Ricans, Colombians, Mexican Americans. We even see that in your play, Criers for Hire.
Yes, it's still running at the East West Players. Thank you for the plug. Dr. O went yesterday with his family, right?
Yes.
And let's talk about that. You saw a lot of similarities with this Filipino American immigrant experience on stage.
Yes.
That resonated in your book.
Yes. And so, your play is based in Los Angeles. And there's a place where there's a lot of Filipinos, a lot of Latinos. And what I saw in the play was something very similar to what was in the book, where Filipinos and Latinos, they live in the same neighborhoods. And so just hanging out, they'll hear things like merienda, they'll hear things like zapatos, and they'll think to themselves, "Hey, why do we have the same words?"
That's right.
They'll meet a friend with the last name Gonzalez. They're like, "We have the same family name. Maybe we're part of the same family." And this happens all the time.
All the time.
All the
in
time.
fact, whenever somebody in the elevator will always say, "Oh, are you Latina? Are you?" And I'm like, "No habla español, pero comprendo muy poquito, pero es muy similar as Tagalog."
Yes.
Even my accent is like, oh, she could totally pass for Latin, right? Because the Tagalog accent, I guess, I can speak Spanish like it's my native language.
Right, right. And you know, what's interesting about this book getting circulated and people talking about it, even word of mouth, is I've gone to the Philippines and people have said Filipinos and Latinos are similar. I met some Latin American immigrants there. I've gotten Facebook messages from Italy, from South American immigrants that meet Filipinos working in Italy and say, hey, I saw your book.
Yeah.
That totally relates to me.
Okay.
Filipinos all over the United States, Texas, New York, Florida.
They're getting in touch with you.
Yeah.
They're coming out of the woodwork because of this book. So if I were you, you need to pick up a copy, join in the conversation. When we return here on Kababayan Today, we're going to talk more about the book and Dr. O. Maybe we can have him on our show as a regular. We'll be right back.